All right, today we are learning how to graph absolute value equations and inequalities on a coordinate plane. I'm going to give you guys the standard form for the absolute value equations. You can look at it in the top right corner up here, and it is y is equal to a times the absolute value of x minus h plus k. Okay, and in this, a is our slope, and HK is our vertex, where H represents the x coordinate of our vertex, and K represents the y coordinate of our vertex. Okay? So, I guess I could have put that all in. So number one, what is our vertex? Raise your hand if you can tell me. You want me to go back?
Yeah. What's
The vertex is HK. So, right, because the number you're taking away from x, it's the number you're subtracting from x is the x coordinate of your vertex, that's your h, and the number on the outside is k. Now, h is like opposite of what you see inside the absolute values, and k is exactly what you see outside. So, let's look on number one. What do we see inside the absolute values? Right, so there's no number, though, is what I'm saying, right? So it would be 0, and then the number outside is? -3, very good. What is our HK on number 2? 0, 4. Okay, raise your hand. This is a toughie. Don't shout it out, but raise your hand if you can tell me what the vertex is on number 3. Will, could you tell me? Will, just, it's okay. I don't know what he just said. He said 0? Okay, look at it and, it's okay, HK, so what would H be? This is number 3 right here. Hey, look, it's this. All right, but the H goes first, so it's, and remember it's the opposite, so it's -20, right? Good. Okay. If you think of it this way, H is just whatever's the opposite of what's in the parentheses, or what's inside the absolute value signs, right? Meyer, number 4, what's the vertex? Uh-huh. Very good. Kennedy, on number 5, what's the vertex? 3, 2. Very good. And on number 6, could you tell me, Deja, what the vertex is? Right, good. Yeah. Yeah, good.
-1.
Very good. -2, -1. Okay, so we get the vertex stitch, right? 0, -3. And our slope is the number in front of x. What's our slope here? 1, so we go up 1 to the right 1. Or we can go up 1 to the left 1, okay? Since it's an absolute value, we know it's going to make a V. All right, any questions on number 1? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, why is number 2 a little bit different?
It goes down.
It's going down, for real. No? Okay, thanks. I feel like Pate is the only person who appreciates my humor, okay? And Olivia laughs at me too. Thanks, Pate. I need that boost. Oh, Emma Kate just looked like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, Miss Miller. Okay, so like this. All right, any questions? All right, let's look at number 5. I'm not trying to rush through this. I just don't want you to have to sit here and listen to me if you know what you're doing. On number 5, what is the vertex? I don't know who said that. What is the vertex, Joseph? Was that you? The vertex is 3, 2? So you go right 3, up 2. Now, what is the slope, Joseph? Right, so what does that mean? Up 3, so up 1, 2, 3, and then which way? Which way? The right, but also to the left. All right. Any questions here? What's the vertex on number 6, Livy? Do you agree with her, Christian, with a C? Vertex on number 6? Very good. Yes, it's -2, -1. And now I go to the left 2, and I go down 1. But what's my slope? How do I use my slope here? Can you help me with that? Hannah, can you help me with my slope here? You go down 1 and which way? I'm sorry? 4? Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the most common mistake I noticed last period, Christian with C, is that people, 1, 2, 3, 4, would, and they'd go down 4 over 1 instead of down 1 over 4. Okay, good. So let's graph that. Are we feeling pretty good about this, guys? We ready to move on to inequalities? Inequalities are like the same thing. The only difference is we're throwing a little bit of shade with inequalities, okay? Thanks. Liv, you do have a question? Oh, you're just stretching. Oh, wait. 1, 4, right, did I do it wrong? Hold on, I go back. Because it's 1, 4, so you go down 1 to the right 4, down, you see? Okay. All right, let's go on the back. Now, on the back, we're doing the same thing. We're just what?
Shading.
Shading, very good. Christian. Guys, you know the fun thing about this, though? You don't have to use calculators for this.
Yay.
Right?
What?
Wait, I don't enjoy
Oh, no, some people are playing games on the calculators. And I was saying no calculators needed. Do you get it?
I was like, I don't
No, that was a joke. Like, no calculators needed, so that was a funny way of saying stop playing games. Okay, so what's the vertex on number 17, Clark? What's inside here changes. Remember, it's y is equal to a times the absolute value of x minus h. Sorry, it's delayed. Plus k. So we're taking the opposite of the h, but the k stays the same. Do you see that? Are you sure?
Yeah, I thought it was another one we were doing on the front side. Like, which is one that was on the outside.
No, that one out that's on the outside stays the same. Okay? So we'll go to, wait, which one are we doing? 17. Oh, yeah. So we go to the left 4, I'm sorry, to the right 4, and down 2. And now, is this going to be a solid line or a dotted line, Layla? Well, yes. Why is it dotted, Layla? It doesn't have that extra line. Very good. Since everybody stole your question, Layla, I'll ask you another question. Oh, and then it's, the slope is up 1 over 1, right? But let me ask you, hold on, I've got one for you, Layla. Just 1 second. Layla, where are we shading? I'm sorry? Well, first off, I should have continued this guy. Okay, we have 2 options. We get a shade here. I guess I'll just go ahead and shade. We've got either pink shading or we've got this orange shading. So you tell me which one and I'll erase the other one. Are you sure? Wait, are you sure? So read this to me, Layla. This says y is greater, right? So think about like above or below. Which shade is above the line, which shade is below? Or I guess the graph. I'm sorry? Right. Do y'all see that? I know it's harder to see with absolute values, but do you see what I mean when we say that above, that all of this in the pink is above, so that's greater? Does that make sense? Can you see that? Okay. Let's look at Do you see another one on the back that you guys want to do? 14. Okay. On 14, what is the vertex going to be, Christian with a K? 0, 2. All right, so I go to 0 and I go up to DeMarcus. Where do I go from here?
You got your slope, which is up there on
And is this going to be a solid line or a dotted line, Harrison? It's going to be a solid line.
How do you know if it's solid or not?
Oh, great question. Well, do you see on number 15 how there's no line under there? That's just a greater or a less than. If it's equal to, like greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, that's when it's solid. So do you see that line here? This is solid, dotted. Solid, dotted. Solid. Did we not dot? I thought we dotted.
Oh, wait, we did.
I thought we dotted. You got it? So this line is solid. And when I think about it, I think about like Finding Nemo, like solid. You remember the turtles that were like taking on the jellies? Nobody remembers that? You remember that, Emma Kate?
I think I did.
The turtles that were going through and they're like taking on the jellies. They're like surfer dude turtles and there are jellyfish everywhere. It's like my favorite part, except for the squishy. Solid. When we're talking about solid lines, like solid dude, yeah. You get it? I'm not saying there's not a far connection, but there's some type of connection there. It's okay. All right, so we still have to shade, though. Where are we shading?
To the in the middle. Yeah, in the middle.
In the middle, because it's above the graph. Does that make sense? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Guys, this is kind of hard because it's like, it says y is greater than, right? So you want to shade above, but really it looks like above in the middle, right? But it's above the graph. Any questions? Are you guys ready to start doing some problem? Or, I'm sorry, there's one other thing two other things I want to go over. Let's do 29. Who have I not called on today? Olivia. 29. So we're writing equations here, right? And these are not inequalities, but equations. So we're going to start with y equals. That's a given. Now y equals, and they don't tell us anything about our slope, so we're just going to assume it's 1. And we have our absolute value signs, right? Oh, but what does the upside down mean? It's negative. Very good. So we have a negative out front. We have done an example where we had negative, flipped it over, right? Okay. And then that would be x. And then what goes next, Olivia? If it goes right 3, it's going to be minus 3. Very good. And then up 2, plus 2 on the outside. Do you guys see how we did that? Okay, Emma Kate, will you help me with number 28? So it's y equals, and then we have our absolute value, and then x, and then what goes here? Well, over here, remember, it's opposite of what you think. So when you go left, it's actually a... But you're not wrong in the fact that going left is negative, but remember, it's minus that negative, so that's why it's positive. And then down 3.5? Minus 3.5, very good. What'd you say? Remember, DeMarcus, when it's outside, it's actually what it is? Okay. Any questions here? All right, let's do like one more thing, and then I will give you guys your homework. Excuse No.
Oh wait, it's like homework.
Okay, so we need to graph this, and you need to know how to write the equation given a graph, okay? The only things we need to know is we need to know what A is, and we need to know what our vertex is, HK, right? So in 20, what is A? And what is HK? 0, 1. So this would just be y is equal to A times the absolute value of x minus 0, which is just x plus 1. And we don't have to have that 1 out in front. It's almost kind of confusing because it looks like 11. Okay? Will, please help us with number 22. What's our vertex on number 22? I think that's a negative 4, 0. And what is our slope, A? One, two. So the slope, we just go down 2 over 1. So, and since it's going down, it's negative 2, right? So now we just want to write this equation. So it would be y is equal to A, which is negative 2, times the absolute value of x. And it's x minus h, which would actually be x what? Plus 4 minus 2. So what? Yeah, it would totally just be 0. I was just making sure you guys were paying attention. So you don't even have to write anything there. If you wanted to write plus 0, you could. Are there any questions here? Okay, we're going to do one more. So let's look at number... You like 24 better than 25? Do you think that you could write the equation? If I give you a quiz right now and just writing the equation given the graph, do you think you could do it?
Yep.
Okay, so 25, what's our vertex? Two, negative 1. Okay, and what is our slope? Up 2 over 1, so it's just 2. So the equation is y is equal to 2 times the absolute value of what? Minus 1, okay. What I'm about to give you is your homework, and it is the front and back of the sheet that I'm about to hand out.